Welcome, friends, to Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter. We bring you the greatest female voices in the music industry, from the artists, songwriters, and producers, to managers and executives, and all the women who make the music industry what it is today. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, friends, to another episode of Crazy Women Country. Today, we are here with Lady Redneck. How are you doing?
I am fabulous. How are you?
I am doing great. I just want you to know that we love Lady Redneck here at Crazy Women Country.
Thank you. That means so much to me. Thank you. Thanks, Donna.
You have a lot of great music out there. And for anyone who's listening and doesn't know your music, they really do need to go check it out. And like I've said before, links will be in the descriptions so they can go check out your latest releases.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So we love to start off with the most difficult question of all. Who is Lady Redneck?
That's a great question because I do get that question. With the name alone, I think it just kind of warrants a question. Basically, I grew up on a little farm, population 23, I kid you not, up in Idaho. And so I grew up, riding in rodeos, barrel racing, playing music with my family. And so I've always had a love for the outdoors, everything from, four-wheeling, like riding on our four-wheelers and hunting and stuff like that and shooting guns. But I also am very much a lady and I love to dress up and I love to wear my heels and I love to curl my hair. And so I'm kind of a mixture of both. And so when they came up, when we were producing a song, my husband and my producer were like, "Oh, you're kind of like a Lady Redneck," and it just kind of stuck. And we're like, "Yeah, that's who I am." So that's how the name came about, and that's who I am.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that story. That is great, and that is who you are. I can definitely tell just from talking before we started recording today. Oh, but so you had some recent releases, and I know I was just listening to Pray for Peace because obviously with everything that's been going on in the world, that song is just so beautiful and touching. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that and kind of your writing process on it?
Yeah, definitely. So Pray for Peace, I came out with a couple of songs in the fall that were very opinionated and very more so along my belief system as far as what's going on in the world. And in December, I just had an introspection where I just felt like I needed to search my soul. I kind of decided I didn't like the direction that I was heading. It just felt like there's so much contention, so much darkness in the world, and there's so much anger to where people get offended easily. And I decided that instead of maybe producing some of the songs and some of the direction I was heading, that I wanted to bring more light. I wanted to bring peace. And with everything with Ukraine and everything else going on, the song pretty much just came to me. I feel like prayer is obviously a universal language. And a lot of the contention and the things that we are struggling with is because we don't accept each other and we don't love each other. So the chorus talks about joining hand in hand, all color and creed, united as one, we'll pray for peace. And I truly know that there is power in prayer. And I think that the more that we can unite and that we can just have that same vibe, that same energy of peace and caring and loving one another, that it will make a difference in the world. And so I just felt like the songs that I wanted to put out, I wanted that to be reflective a little more and try to just bring light and bring that into the world. So Pray for Peace was actually, that was the reason that I'd written and produced that song.
Wow. And it's beautiful. Definitely. I mean,
Thank
that's,
you.
like I said, it was very touching when I first heard it. I was like, oh, this is so beautiful. So I just felt so at peace. And then I know this sounds funny, I guess, when you're saying you're so at peace by listening to it, but it just made that your day lighter and relaxing and just, it was beautiful that day. Good. I was just, when I first heard it just totally tugged at my heart.
Oh, good. That means a lot. I'm glad that it did. If it can bring peace, and music is so powerful. It has such a way to heal, such a way to change our mood, such a way to just help us understand life. And with what we're all going through and wondering about all of the questions and with the economy and with our world, it's nice just to be able to feel that peace.
Absolutely. There's a lot in the world today, and I know I'm so glad I grew up in a time before the internet was huge, I think, and just the simpler, I don't want to say simpler way of life, but a little less convoluted with too much media, if you will, and as I think sometimes, that's just that's what you do when you listen to really good music like that. You just takes you to that simpler moment in life where there's always going to be the chaos and the craziness of the world, but just that calmness.
Yeah.
Oh. So tell us about...
I'm glad you felt that.
Absolutely. Tell us about your other new release. Now, this one came out on June 3rd, right?
It's going to be coming out on June 3rd. Okay. So yes, it came out on June 3rd, and it's called "Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing." It's a religious song. I believe it was written in the 1800s. Robert Rivera. I'm probably not saying his last name right, so I better stop. But it's one of the most beautiful songs that I've ever heard, and I've loved it for years and years and years. And it's not not as traditional for my sound, or not the same as a lot of the other ones that I've done. Most of my music has a lot of guitar or heavy guitar. This one is just me and my piano, and it's just simple. It's not even on a metronome where everything is just exactly by the beat. It's all heart. And the song is just beautiful. It's a praise song, just talking about all of our blessings that we have, because we do have so many blessings. And I think even when you're in the midst of the trials, if you sit back and you count your blessings and you just start thinking of everything you have to be grateful for, something inside your heart changes and you see things differently. And that was one of the reasons I've just always loved this song. So I decided I was going to go ahead and put it out.
Well, definitely excited. It's a great song. And gratitude. Everything in life, gratitude or a lesson, even in the worst moments, it's that lesson of just taking that moment to say, okay, well, yes, it was a bad day, but it's not a bad life, or however you feel on that aspect. And that is kind of where that kind of takes me with that song, I think.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
So tell us, who are some of the women that have inspired you to do music?
So Dolly Parton is one, and I love her beautiful heart, how much she loves people and her goodness, and it comes through in her music. I love her sweetness and just the way she's an amazing musician and amazing writer. She plays several instruments. She's written a lot of songs, and she's her own person. It doesn't matter what people think or say about her. She just, she's just happy, and she's a good role model. So Dolly is definitely a big role model for me with my music. And then other women of country music, of course, Shania Twain. She's just awesome. I mean, another songwriter, and one that was able to, conquer the world. Like she made it happen. She really brought women, just put us right up there and did an amazing job. You've got all the big ones, Taylor Swift, Faith Hill, that you could just go and name, and Maddie and Tay. So all of those women and many more have been big influences in my life, for sure.
Wonderful. Again, Dolly, yes, I still want to grow up to be her one day, because who doesn't?
I hear ya. Let's both do that.
Okay. Oh, she's just such an awesome person in general. So gracious.
She is.
Definitely.
She is. Yeah.
Oh, would you?
I can't even imagine her. Oh, so go ahead.
Sorry, no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I can't even imagine hearing her say something mean. She's just seems so sweet.
Oh, I think she says it in a funny, sarcastic way sometimes. Some of her sarcasms that come out, I'm like, yeah, she doesn't mean to mean. She just like, really, people, that kind of.
Yeah. It's a good way to do it.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Would you like to get into our 20 crazy questions?
Okay.
Wonderful.
Sounds great.
There's no right or wrong answer. They're just fun, get to know you questions. So for
Okay.
some of our listeners that may not know you, hopefully they'll get to know you a lot better.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. So what is your current song that you like to rock out to or chill out to?
My current song, let's see, that I like to rock out to would be let me just think. Gosh, the crazy thing is, this is not my typical song, but the last couple of days I've been teaching music all day yesterday, all day today, and I've got several students for some reason or not singing Girl on Fire. And it's not necessarily my favorite song, but it's just been in my head, feels like for the last week to where I can't even get it out. So probably currently, it's just because it won't go out of my head.
Oh, that's perfect. And that's actually not a bad song to have stuck in your head.
Yeah. It's an awesome song for sure.
What was the last thing you read?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I love to read a lot of books. I actually listen to more on Audible. I'm one of those people that if I don't have music going, I have Audible going. And I love business and self-help and marketing and manifesting books a lot and stuff like that. I read my scriptures every day. But I also, let's see, the one that I've been listening to now, I can't even I don't even know what the name of it is. But the one right before that was Atlas Shrugged. I listen to that probably 3 times a year just because I love it. So that's
Definitely
probably the last one beside I read beside the scriptures. I read the Bible every day. Yeah. So
that is awesome. So there, if you haven't read that book, everyone, there's a book for your list to read. Tell us the best 2 concerts you've ever been to.
The best 2 concerts I've ever been to. I would have to say it's really funny. You know, when you're little and you go to concerts and because they're your first ones, they're oh. So when I was little, I went to a Garth Brooks concert and he had rain coming from the sky and he had lightning and he was swinging on things. And I remember just going oh my gosh, that was so amazing. So probably Garth Brooks. And then another one that I went to that was crazy good when I was young was Faith Hill and Tim McGraw. And just because the chemistry between them and just they were just singing their hearts out, it just was super cool. So
definitely great concerts. Yes. And I can imagine having Garth for your first concert. I mean, he puts on a great show. So yeah, I remember some of my first concerts were more Ronnie Millsap. And that was down in Tennessee back when they had Opryland USA, the theme park yet. Because cool. They used to have the concert hall there. But yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
tell us. He's got a great sound.
He does. He does. He has that just a smooth voice, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah, he does.
Tell us, what job would you be terrible at doing?
I can tell you, I would be a terrible truck driver. I'm so grateful for our truck drivers. And I actually like driving, but I hate sitting. And I just would be a terrible truck driver. It would not work for me very well. I'm a little bit vertically challenged, so even seeing over the steering wheel, I don't think it would fit me.
Oh, that's great. Tell us, what's the first thing you would do if you won the lottery?
First thing I would do is actually I would spend a little bit of it, just a little, and then I would invest the rest in some. I love business, and of course I love the music industry, so I'd invest some into a couple of different businesses and then keep the rest and put it in probably a trust fund.
You can tell we're adults when we think responsibly about money, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
It would have been more fun to go get the Lamborghini and go on the trip.
yeah. Oh, I always say when we get to the bucket list, that's when I'm like, okay, so after we win the lottery, we'll do the bucket list. Let's do it.
Exactly.
Do you have a game plan for zombie apocalypse?
I do actually. I am very much of a prepper. So I do have a game plan. Definitely I do. I don't maybe more so for the apocalypse. The zombie part's a little scary to me. I don't know that I'm quite ready for that. But maybe just the SHTF part of it, but not the not the zombie part.
No, it's okay. It's all good. Can you tell us an album or artists that we should listen to before we die?
Oh, definitely. An artist or an album before we die. Gosh, there's so many good ones out there. How do you even pick?
Well, pick a couple. I mean, we know Dolly because obviously, if they don't listen to all Dolly, that's a problem.
Dolly's
right there.
She's just a given.
Yeah.
And I was really I love a lot of Eric Church's stuff. I'm really into his vibe, and I'm really into. But you know what? One of my favorite albums, I really loved, and this isn't even country genre, but the Maroon 5 songs about Jane. I just knew that when he wrote them, that they were all about that relationship. And I feel like when you can feel kind of their journey through each song, it helps you understand more of, I mean, you can kind of relate to it because then it makes you think of the time when you were in the situation like that. And so that's when I just come back to every few years and just have to immerse myself in.
That's a beautiful one for sure. Tell us, who would play you in a movie about your life?
Oh, Oh, your questions. I have never heard any like this.
That's why they're called 20 crazy questions.
I don't even know who would play me. I don't even know. Who would play me? I'm not sure. I don't even think I have an answer for that one. I'm going to have to think about that one. And maybe if I get back on your show again, I can answer that.
Okay, we'll come back to that one later. Oh, do you prefer boots or heels?
And that depends on my mood. It totally does. I probably wear heels a little more often, just because since I am a little bit vertically challenged, like I mentioned, I'm not super tall. I just wear heels a lot. But I love my boots too. So I probably prefer heels just a touch.
I could understand that. I'm not vertically challenged, but I could understand that. Oh, okay. So this one's just totally silly. Where's Waldo?
He's probably preparing himself somewhere for the zombie apocalypse. I don't know. It's a very good question.
That's perfect.
He's in one of those little books you flip through.
Oh, hypothetically, if I came to you and said, I need to hide a dead body, do you know a good place?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, this is so terrible. I shouldn't even say this out loud, but I think I'm going to. So this is really terrible. I'd probably say my fridge, but our freezer out in the garage. But the only reason I say this is because my husband loves watching Dexter and shows like that.
Yeah.
And he's a big time hunter, and he trains our dog to be a hunting dog. So he has to save blood from the animals in the freezer out there. So there's different, or if the dog does really well, he'll give him part of a leg of one of the deer, or whatever, just because that's part of the training. And so you never know what you're going to find out in my fridge. But I like tease him, like, are you sure that's all deer in there? You know, just because, I don't know, there's anyway, that's probably more than any of you guys wanted to know. But
oh, that's great. I love it.
oh,
I love it. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely you can tell a hunter, yes, for sure.
Yeah. He's the hardcore one too. So
oh, what's the best thing since sliced bread?
dark chocolate. I love my dark chocolate. I'm just totally addicted. And it was so funny because I was watching a TikTok video today about like, it had like the top 7 things you should eat daily for your health. And they went into like blackberries and went to all of these things, all these reasons and the chemicals and the, you know, all of the nutrients inside of them. And number 6 was dark chocolate. I'm like, yes, I'm doing that one.
Exactly. So, dark chocolate is good for you.
Got one covered. So
I have to transition to the dark chocolate. I still like the milk chocolate, but it's healthier, right?
Well,
so that's my reason.
Yeah, no. And the funny thing is, it's like nobody else in this house likes dark chocolate. So it's like nobody touches my chocolate. So another good reason right there.
Oh, absolutely. Well, tell us, what's the worst topping on a pizza?
The worst topping on a pizza is sausage, which I know that a lot of people like sausage. I love jalapenos. No, wait. I take that back. Chicken. I am not a chicken on pizza fan. I'm just not. I don't know why, but I can handle about anything else but chicken. But there's like this pizza place up where I live, and they have this super hot and spicy, like jalapeno, like all of this, but it's with like an Alfredo sauce. I don't know what they put in it, but it's the best pizza I've ever had. It's so good. And you take a bite and your mouth's on fire, but I just love it.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to try that. I'm gonna have next time I get into the Texas, I'm gonna have to call you and be like, hey, where's this place? We're gonna go have pizza.
Yes, you've got to try it. It is like hands down the best pizza I've ever had. So good.
Oh, do you have any guilty pleasure music? If so, what is it?
Guilty pleasure music. That's a good question. Let me think what that would be.
Well, I was joking the other day. I said my guilty pleasure would be like the old school rap, like Vanilla Ice and like those 90 rappers, 90s. Yeah, like some of those.
That's awesome. I actually thought along the same line, but I didn't think Vanilla Ice. I thought of like NF, like like there's rapper right now, the NF guy that I don't listen to him very often, but sometimes like I'm just in the mood and I'll just listen to all this stuff like on a run or something. And it's probably that.
So at what age do you feel that you became an adult?
I would say 21. Yeah. Probably 21. I know that's like I know like probably your answer varies so much from person to person, depending on what they've been through. I had a great childhood. I was with a great family, humble, simple. We didn't have hardly any money, but we had so much love and so much fun and so much everything. So and then my parents were always building me up. I was really close to my sisters. It was almost like when I describe it, I had somebody that interviewed me say something like, it sounded like you grew up in like the 50s. Like does that even happen anymore? But that was kind of like my childhood, you know? So I don't think that I really had to grow up like a lot of people do, going through hard things when they're younger. So yeah, it probably was 21.
Yeah. Well, and some of us just think, when we have to do all the responsibilities, that's when we're officially a grown up. So yeah, it just depends. And you're right. It does vary between people.
Yeah.
Now tell us, what is on your bucket list? Is it travel? Is it a gold record? What is something on your bucket list?
Okay, so here we go. Let's talk. Okay, travel, for sure, travel. Yes. I lived in the Philippines for like a year and a half, a few years ago, and it was life-changing for me. And I didn't even know that I loved, like I'd been to Hawaii and Mexico, you know what I mean? Like the ones that everybody goes to. but I hadn't really seen like other parts of the world and how they live and the culture and been immersed in it the way that I was when I lived there. And so now it just makes me thirst and hunger to know about other cultures and try other foods and, learn other languages. And so definitely travel for sure. I want to be playing music as I travel too. I want to bring my music to those different cultures and be a part of that. So that is definitely a big one. I'd love to sing at the Opry. I want to sell out a stadium. That'd be something I'd love to do. I want to go skydiving. I want to like do, I'm not sure about if it's a year trip, but I want to take a sailing trip where I just sail and just like live off of the ocean, like fishing and just, like see, number one, if I can do it. Number two, just enjoy the simplicity of not being connected to 24/7 and you know what I mean? Just a whole different feeling of life. So yeah, those are some of them on my bucket list right there.
Well, that's why we love traveling the RV, even though it's just through the US. It's so great because there are some times where you're like, okay, yes, I have my phone on me, but really I'm just using it to take pictures today. There's no other reason for my phone. Literally, because you're in the middle of an area that has no cell service.
Yeah. Don't you almost feel like it's a blessing when that happens? You look at your phone, oh shoot, but you're like, yes.
Oh, look,
no service. Yep. We were at a shooting range a couple weeks ago, and for some reason, just the pocket we were in didn't have service. And I planned on doing all these promotional videos, but I was like, oh shoot, I guess I can't do that. So,
well, if you could be a person or a position like a CEO, a doctor, obviously not a truck driver, who or what position would you want to be for the day and why?
I would want, this is going to sound really, really, really crazy. I would want to be president of the United States, but not for the reason that you think. And I don't want to get in there and make all these changes and try to whatever. I think that I'd want to feel the weight and the magnitude of what that title carries, like the responsibility, to me, it would be, I mean, so many people are counting on you. You're going to be answering to God. You're going to be answering to, I don't know. To feel what that would feel like, even for one day, would be a really interesting perception.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is a great one for sure. What do you wish would magically clean itself? The dishes, the laundry, the whole house?
The whole house. I love doing laundry. I'm kind of a little bit OCD, just a little, to where I love the smells of laundry. I love the warm clothes. And so I actually love doing laundry. And so even like when it's in the dryer, I take out just a few when they're still warm and fold them so there's no wrinkles and hang them up. And I don't know why, but it's just something I've always loved. And so, but the rest of the house, I don't really, that can clean itself. I'm good with that.
Oh, perfect. Would you rather cook or order in?
I would rather order in. I get in moods where I really love to cook, but sometimes I feel like I'm so busy that I like, to me, it's another thing on my list almost to get to. You know what I mean? So It's not that I don't like cooking. Like if I take the time and I go get the vegetables and just allow myself to relax enough to enjoy it, then I sound really idiot. Anyway, I think it's the type A in me that. Are you still there? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's okay. It's okay. I noticed it just went out, so it's okay.
I must have forgot to put do not disturb on my phone. I'm usually so good about that. I'm so sorry. But yeah, so as far as I would rather order in for sure. Order out for sure.
Perfect. Pizza, right? That spicy pizza. That sounds so good.
That's a good one.
So last but not least of the 20 crazy questions. Do you have any words of wisdom you live by? If so, what are they?
Yeah. So one of my favorite quotes is, I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. And I love that because it gives me confidence in anything. Like as long as I have Christ in my heart and in my life, I feel like it says in all things. So that's a big one for me. And then when I was in college, I actually made up my own motto that I would put on top of all of my notebooks and stuff. And it probably sounds silly, and I really haven't even shared this to hardly anybody, but I put 100% faith, no fear, no excuses, no exceptions. And it was just a reminder to me of who I am, and not to make excuses, and just to have faith and just to go for it. So
yeah. Not silly at all. That sounds nice. Definitely.
Oh, thank you.
Definitely. So what does the rest of 2022 look like for you? Releasing more music, doing more writing?
All of the above. Yeah, that too. I feel like I let myself get a little bit out of shape. So I've been working really hard on I've been doing a lot of running and a lot of walking. I've been doing a lot of songwriting lately. I'm heading back to the studio next week, and I usually release a song every like 1 to 2 months. So I'm going to continue that. I'll be releasing an album sometime this year. And then hopefully on top of that, just going as far as I can with my music. So
wonderful. And I think the video just cut out again.
Darn it. I need to figure out how to, I'm so sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. So I'd like to thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure having you, and you are welcome back anytime.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It's been really nice. I really enjoyed it.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you. So like I said, anytime. And everyone go check out the links below in the descriptions. Make sure you go check out Lady Redneck's music. Have a great day, everyone.
Donna. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay.
If you enjoyed today's episode of Crazy Women Country, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Be sure to click the subscribe button for new interviews weekly. And thank you, friends, for joining us today on Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter.